In June 2024, a construction crew on the Greek island of Crete was preparing the summit of a hill for the installation of a radar system. The radar was a critical component of a new international airport being built near the town of Castelli. It was designed to replace the aging Heraklion airport and to handle the millions of tourists who visit the island every year. The hill was called Papoura. It rose nearly 500 meters above sea level, offering a clear 360-degree line of sight across the surrounding countryside. It was the ideal location for an air traffic control radar. Bulldozers had already cleared the surface vegetation, and they had begun leveling the ground. And then the machines stopped. Beneath the topsoil, the blades had exposed stone, not scattered rubble or natural bedrock. Shaped stone. Thick, curving walls made of carefully placed masonry, arranged in concentric rings that radiated outward from the center of the hilltop like the rings of a target. One ring, then two, then three, then more, each built at a slightly different elevation, stepping down from the summit like the layers of a massive stone wheel. By the time archaeologists from the Ephorate of Antiquities of Heraklion reached the site, they knew they were looking at something that had no precedent. The structure covered roughly 1,800 square meters. Its outer ring measured nearly 48 meters in diameter. It consisted of 8 concentric stone rings, each averaging 1.5 meters thick, with surviving heights of up to 1.7 meters. At the center sat a circular building 15 meters across, its interior divided into 4 quadrants by radial walls. The rings were connected to each other by narrow openings, creating a pathway that wound inward through the structure, in a pattern the excavation team described carefully and precisely as almost labyrinthine, on the island of Crete, where the myth of the labyrinth was born. The Minoan civilization is the oldest known advanced civilization in Europe. It flourished on Crete from roughly 3,100 BCE to 1100 BCE, producing art, architecture, writing systems, and engineering that were unmatched in the Western world for centuries. The Minoans built the great palaces of Knossos, Phaistos, and Malia, complex multi-story structures with sophisticated plumbing, painted frescoes, and storage magazines large enough to supply entire regional populations. And threading through everything the Minoans left behind is the legend of the Labyrinth. The story, as later Greek writers told it, describes a vast maze built beneath the palace of King Minos at Knossos by the master craftsman Daedalus. Inside the maze lived the Minotaur, a creature half man and half bull, fed on human sacrifices until the Athenian hero Theseus entered the labyrinth, killed the creature, and found his way out using a thread given to him by Ariadne. Scholars have debated for over a century what, if anything, lay behind the myth. The palace of Knossos itself, with its hundreds of interconnected rooms and corridors, has often been cited as the inspiration. Others have pointed to ancient cave systems on the island, or to the ritual significance of the bull in Minoan culture. But no physical structure matching the description of a construction like a maze, designed to contain or control movement, had ever been found on Crete. Until Papoura Hill. The structure dates to between 2,000 and 1,700 years before the Common Era, placing it in the period just before or at the very beginning of the Great Palace Building Era. This is significant. It means the concentric ring structure was built before the palaces at Knossos and Phaistos reached their full complexity. Whatever purpose it served, it was not a product of palace culture. It was a predecessor, something that existed before the palaces and possibly influenced what came after. Pottery fragments recovered from the site date its main period of use to the Middle Minoan period. Large quantities of animal bones were concentrated in the two central zones, suggesting that the site was not continuously inhabited, but used periodically for events that involved the consumption of food and possibly ritual offerings. This pattern is consistent with what archaeologists know about Minoan peak sanctuaries, hilltop sites across Crete that were used for communal religious ceremonies. But peak sanctuaries are typically modest in scale, small enclosures with simple altars and votive objects. Nothing like this. The lead archaeologist on the excavation described the structure as unique. The Greek Ministry of Culture confirmed that nothing with this design had ever been found anywhere else in Crete. Other archaeologists were more direct. Nothing like this has ever been unearthed before. The closest architectural parallels are not on Crete at all. They are found in the early Bronze Age constructions of the Middle East, and in the vaulted tholos tombs of southern Crete and mainland Greece, beehive-shaped burial structures built for elite individuals during the same period. But the Papoura structure is not a tomb. No human burials have been found inside it, and its scale, nearly 50 meters across, dwarfs any tholos tomb known to archaeology. What it was exactly remains an open question. The excavation team has proposed several possibilities. It could have been a sanctuary for periodic ritual use, or a fortified structure with a defensive function. It might have been a communal gathering place, designed to organize and control the movement of large numbers of people through a sequence of concentric spaces. Some have suggested it served as a communication point, using fire or smoke signals visible from its hilltop position. Others have noted that the narrow passages between the rings would have forced anyone entering to follow a winding, disorienting path toward the center, a physical experience not unlike moving through a maze. The word labyrinth itself may derive from the Minoan word labrys, meaning double-headed axe, a sacred symbol that appears throughout Minoan art and architecture. If that connection holds, then the concept of the labyrinth was not an invention of a later Greek mythology. It was a physical reality, built in stone on a Cretan hilltop 4,000 years ago. And now that hilltop is the site of a conflict that has drawn international attention. The new Heraklion airport is one of the largest infrastructure projects in modern Greek history. The radar installation on Papoura Hill is not optional. Civil aviation authorities require radar coverage for safe air traffic control, and the hilltop's elevation and unobstructed sightlines make it, according to the Greek Civil Aviation Authority, the only location that can guarantee safe operation of the airport. Authorities examined over 200 alternative locations. The nearest viable option would have left a gap in radar coverage. It would have caused a delay of 24 seconds in tracking incoming aircraft, and that was deemed an unacceptable safety risk. The monument, meanwhile, has been recognized as one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the century. In 2025, it received the Archaeologist of Palmyra Prize for Best Archaeological Discovery of the Year, awarded at the International Archaeological Tourism Exhibition in Italy. The Greek Minister of Culture accepted the award in person, praising the find as one that changes our perspective on Minoan archaeology. At the same moment, the government was celebrating the discovery on the international stage. Its domestic agencies were finalizing plans to build a 30-meter radar tower on the same hilltop. The opposition has been fierce. More than 300 archaeologists and historians from around the world have signed a statement warning that the project could cause irreversible damage to an iconic monument. A local campaign group called Save Papoura has gathered thousands of supporters. Schoolchildren in a nearby town assembled in their schoolyard, arranged in concentric rings, mimicking the structure's layout in a protest that was photographed and shared across Greek media. The government has said it will both protect the monument and ensure flight safety. Critics say those two goals are incompatible on the same hilltop. The excavation is ongoing. The airport construction continues around it. The structure itself, 4,000 years old and still partially buried, its full extent and purpose unknown, sits at the center of a collision between the ancient world and the modern one. Only a portion of the site has been excavated. Archaeologists believe there may be additional features beneath the surrounding terrain that have not yet been exposed. The original shape of the structure, whether it rose as a truncated cone, a vault, or something else entirely, has not been determined. Its relationship to the Minoan palaces built in the centuries after its construction has not been established. The meaning of its concentric design, the purpose of its narrow connecting passages, and the significance of the animal bones concentrated at its center are all subjects of active investigation. What is known is that for 4,000 years, the structure sat beneath the surface of Papoura Hill, invisible to the farmers and herders who worked the land around it, unknown to the archaeologists who had spent decades studying Minoan sites across the island. It took the construction of an airport, the clearing of a hilltop for a radar tower, and the blade of a bulldozer scraping away the last layer of soil to bring it back into the light. The island of Crete gave the world the myth of the labyrinth. It may have just given us the thing itself. Whether it survives what happens next is no longer a question for archaeologists. It is a question for the people building the airport. Thanks for watching. If this is the kind of exploration you want to follow, subscribe. There is more to come.